A lot of folks that are listening, I think, would be interested in the book you've just written. It's a book, I've got it here, it's called Simple Spirituality, Learning to See God in a Broken World. And I wonder, it is a fantastic book, and I know you've got to feel some satisfaction in that this represents years of labor and reflection, and it's really just a writing down what is crystallized inside of you. And I wonder if you might give us some snapshots of what this is all about and how it came about and so on, like that.
Well, it really is confessional that I'm just trying to make sense of exploring spirituality unto God that's contextualized in a world of suffering. And the subtitle was something I worked with my editor on actually over a couple of weeks, because I wanted to say it just right, like learning to see God in a broken world. The book opens up with a few stories of different friends of ours who are blind, but how perceptive their ability to see our souls, to see God's goodness, even in their limitation and their blindness is. And I think that provoked in me this prayerfulness towards whatever it is that I think I want to understand or arrive at, the things that I think I want to sort of perceive. I have to recognize my own blindness even in the journey. I have to recognize my own blindness even in the struggle. Mm-hmm. And so it's reaching my hand out certainly to the hand of God, to allow God to lead, but it's also been reaching the other hand out to this community of people who suffer and follow. In the book, reflect on 5 values in our community. That our 9 lifestyle celebrations are really central to our formative process. And I took 5 of those: humility, community, simplicity, submission, and brokenness. And I just really tried to theologically reflect on what those look like as Christian practices, as celebrations in service. The way I'd sort of teed it up or framed it off was I'd studied in Jerusalem. Actually lived there for about 10 months, and I went to the Brook of Elah where David pulled the smooth stones out that he was going to slay the giant with. And I get tangled up in the details all the time in real life. And in that story, David pulls 5 stones out of the brook, but the scripture only indicates that he used 1. And so there's all these rabbinic traditions that say, well, there were 4 brothers who were also giants, or there were whatever. There's a stack of them. But that was the one that I thought, well, that sounds fun. That sounds like something to play around with. And so I took those 5 little stones that I had pulled out of that brook, and I set them on my desk, and I looked at them, and I just said, man, what are these giants of Goliath? What are these 5 monsters that are just keeping me from simple practices, simple eruptions of validating my love for God in a spirituality that engages the world? And I named them humility, community, simplicity, submission, and brokenness. And
what the corresponding giants would be?
I mean, I hate to say it is infantile, but humility slays the giant of pride, and community the giant of independence, and simplicity of excess, submission of resistance, and brokenness, sort of this controlling of our soul, of our identity, of our vocation. And so those really are things that I fumble around in, and so that's why I say it's confessional. Mm-hmm.